Bitcoin has been stuck between 85 and 90,000, but a signal just flashed that could change everything. Meanwhile, the crypto DeFi wars are heating up, and what's happening behind the scenes is absolutely crazy. And speaking of DeFi, we are seeing 200% annual yields using little known protocols that I'm going to share in this video. Which brings us to the big question: is there a hidden opportunity in crypto going into 2026? I believe there is, and I'm going to share where I think this opportunity lies. All this and more on this episode of Around the Block, the show that brings you up-to-date news on crypto so you can stay ahead of the curve and master the world of cryptocurrency.
I think Clarity is like the Puxatawny Phil of crypto of this winter. I think if Clarity doesn't pass, it's going to push us into a deeper. It's going to be hard for crypto to rally. I think if you do see it pass, that's probably something like the all clear signal on this pullback, and we could see, I think, most assets, and particularly ETH and Solana and others, move to all-time highs.
Right.
All eyes are on the Clarity Act. We need this to pass to get the regulatory clarity. In terms of the news, this has been arguably the most bullish year in crypto history, yet the price has suffered. Now, there are dozens of reasons the price has suffered. However, I think one of the big ones is that we need that final leg of regulatory clarity so that the price can move upward. And if we combine the Clarity Act with what I see playing out in the charts, we have a recipe for a massive move to the upside, or if this doesn't pass, I can see us bleeding down into the 70s or lower. Some people believe the Clarity Act is not as big of a deal, and we need to just look at the charts and on-chain metrics to see where we're going next. This chart shows that once we hit a red dot, we will bleed lower. We are at a local top. But once we hit a green dot, we are at the next leg of expansion, and it's time to move upward. This chart would show that we are at the bottom now, and the next leg up is right in front of us. And here is another chart called the Power Law that is showing where Bitcoin's price has ranged over time. It shows the fair market value versus the current price, and right now we're sitting at about a 27% discount from the fair market value. Typically, we always catch up to fair market value, if not range above it for a period of time. And one of the most famous charts in crypto that was extremely accurate up until this year is the M2 liquidity, the M2 money supply versus the Bitcoin price. Bitcoin on a short lag was always neck and neck with the M2 money supply, but you can see we have decoupled here in a massive way. People think if Bitcoin is to follow this chart, there is so much room for the price to move up that it's almost unbelievable. Now, this chart may have just been coincidence, but if the price does rally into this range, it would help confirm the thesis that the more money printing takes place, the higher the Bitcoin price will eventually go, as we are losing our purchasing power and Bitcoin is the hedge against that. So I think what's going to happen is we may range sideways for some amount of time until we get this Clarity Act to hopefully pass. There is so much talk happening that this is going to happen in December. Now we're talking January. I am hopeful we will see this pass in January, which will ignite the next leg of the bull run. Two major DeFi players are taking very different routes right now. We've got Aave, which is one of the biggest DeFi protocols in all of crypto, having a civil war. This post does a great job of explaining what's happening here. Aave has two sides: Aave Labs, which is a centralized entity, and the Aave DAO, where token holders govern the protocol. To make a long story short, money that should be routed to the DAO is actually being routed to the private company. And it's not just pennies. It's nearly $10 million a year. This battle is heating up and causing the price of Aave to slip lower and lower because people do not like civil war among a token they are holding. Now, on the flip side, we've got Uniswap, which is one of the largest decentralized exchanges in the world, passing a new proposal which has a burn mechanism. So to try to simplify this in plain English, let's use a simple example. Pretend you are buying something with a credit card and paying a 1% fee. Instead of that fee going to Visa or MasterCard, it's literally burned. The supply is decreased. That has a natural deflationary mechanism, a deflationary pressure, which should move the price upward. Two of the biggest DeFi giants having very different outcomes. Uniswap passing a proposal to make their token deflationary and cause the price to go up. Aave starting a civil war, causing the price to go down. And speaking of DeFi, let's talk about some opportunities that I've identified along with my team that have been producing over 200% annually, like clockwork. Real quick, I just want to say this is not financial advice, and this is for education purposes only. Now, just in case you're not familiar with DeFi, decentralized finance, also known as DeFi, is basically a way for regular people to earn money like a bank does. Now, they use something called a liquidity pool, which may sound complicated, but just stay with me for a second. I promise this will make sense. Try to imagine a digital account filled with two assets, 50% of one and 50% of another. Let's just use dollars and euros in this particular case to make it simple. Every day, people need to switch between the two. You're going on vacation to Europe, you need to convert your dollars to euros, and you're going to pay a fee to do that. Or if you're doing business internationally, you're going to be paying massive fees because you need to do currency conversion on a regular basis. Hopefully that's making sense so far. Now in crypto, this works very similarly, except with one main difference. Let's say this blue circle represents a liquidity pool with two crypto assets, in this example, Ethereum and Bitcoin. A liquidity provider, instead of this being a bank, this can be a regular person, me or you. We can provide the assets to the pool so that there's money there to swap between the two assets. A trader comes along who has Ethereum and wants Bitcoin. He swaps between the two. And when he does that, he pays a tiny transaction fee, just like you would pay to a bank or financial institution, swapping between two assets. But in this case, the money doesn't go to the bank. The money goes to the liquidity provider. That transaction fee, that tiny little fee, goes to regular investors rather than the bank. Instead of Visa or MasterCard or Chase taking that little fee, we earn the money. Regular investors can participate in this world. Now let me show you the type of return on investment, the yield that is being generated from pools like this. You can see a variety of pools here. Every pool is two assets. You've got Zora on one side, USDC on the other. You've got Ethereum, wrapped Ethereum it's called, WETH, and Tibber. So there's about $220,000 in this pool. And right now, because there's so much trading volume, this thing's kicking off $15,000 last week in rewards, which would be about a 360% APY. So to participate in this, it's just a couple clicks. Once you know what you're doing, the key is knowing which pools to get in, where to hedge your risk, and which assets are going to produce a strong return while minimizing downside. Now I want to show you my actual results. This is truly my money deposited here. You can see I've got about $40,000 across a few different pools, and this is paying well over $8,000 a month. Now, if that is interesting to you and you want to learn how to make your assets work for you, much like a bank does or Visa or MasterCard, then I invite you to join our DeFi Accelerator program. We specifically work with business leaders and accredited investors who want to harness the power of crypto to earn yield on their assets that Wall Street could only dream of. You don't have to keep thinking, I missed the boat on crypto. I wish I got in 5 years ago. Here is a brand new opportunity that most people don't even know exists. All you have to do is go to the description of this video. There is a link to schedule a call with me or my team where we can learn about your goals and see if you're a good fit for the program. Inside our program, we have some of the world's most successful entrepreneurs, including people who have sold their companies for tens of millions of dollars. We have live events every week where we help you implement the strategies that we teach. We even share our exact playbook and which coins we're investing in right now and why. This is one of those opportunities where you can be around world-class entrepreneurs that are mastering the world of crypto together. So if you've thought to yourself, I missed the boat on crypto, I promise that is not the case. There are huge opportunities here now, and all it takes is educating yourself a bit further alongside a group of people who have done this for years and years. So I hope you've enjoyed this video learning more about Bitcoin, crypto, and DeFi. We provide tips, insights, and information every day for free on our YouTube channel, so don't forget to like and subscribe.